Hey guys, thanks for watching Unirock. I'm not going to do my intro right now because I didn't configure sound, but thanks for coming in. We were live earlier and we jumped offline after a little while. We got a good chat in there, a good topical discussion, and we're back now just for a shorter thing because I'm going to do an interview, so it's not going to be our normal like 2 or 3 hour broadcast. We're just we've already done that for the night. I had a response from a person that I wanted to talk to live because he had an opinion that I really liked hearing, and so I thought he got back with me, and I thought I'd bring him on. So I'm going to try to talk him into coming into Discord sometime after this, just to talk to people in case you guys want to ask him questions. But it probably won't be till tomorrow because our moderator is in bed, so I can't generate a link myself. I'll find out though. I think I got Lady with 380 thank you for letting me mod you. You're modded. Any trolls, please don't discourage debate. But if anyone even starts any insulting or name calling, you know the rules. Just give them a kick. You can find that button with the 3 dots to the right of the name. And also, we want to thank Bit and Bitter for coming back. But I'm going to give our new guest a chance to tell us who he is and where he's from, and just give us an introduction. So, hey, Blaine, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm Blaine. I'm from Fast. Nothing out here.
Same here, man. I'm out in the middle of nowhere myself. So I saw you on Facebook. Do you post your thoughts on UFOs and stuff on Facebook often?
Oh, yeah. I am a regular tinfoil hat wearer.
We love those.
No, no, but I do know quite a bit about aliens. I research it like every day. But mostly, I came to the conclusion that aliens are demonic entities in the name of Jesus Christ. UFO experiencers or abductees that pray in the name of Jesus Christ. You know, the experience stops dead in its tracks. There's several first-hand accounts on, was it CE4 Research? They have thousands of testimonies of the live. They travel in and out of space-time. They can come in and out of walls. They set off EMF readers just the same. It has more correlation with, you know, demonic activity and poltergeist activity. You know, it's more of a spiritual thing. You know, they change their stories over time. It used to be that they came from Mars. All of a sudden, they come from Orion's belt, and then they changed that. Now they're interdimensional, and now they're us from the future, or so they claim.
Yeah, Blaine, let me. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Let me jump in for 2 seconds. That's awesome what you said, because actually I've followed this topic for a while, and what I've found is really what you said. Now, I've read many articles. Only reason I stopped you is I wanted to ask you this. It was about, you said that they pray sometimes when, or not, well, you know, in certain articles they say that you can pray if you're being abducted.
Yeah.
And it can stop the experience. Can you go back to that? Have you heard anything? Maybe tell us about what you've read on that, and if you have anything else to add. If not, it's okay, but let me know. What do you think?
Well, sure. It has to do with the blood of Jesus. You don't even have to pray his name aloud. It's more to do with your allegiance to him. There was a book written by Whitley Strieber, and he said that when he encountered these beings, sulfur, and he felt experiencers that felt the same malicious, hostile, you know, even if they come as wolves in sheep's clothing, it's your allegiance to Jesus that they steer clear of. The way that you get in contact with the beings is by automatic writing, telepathy, so a lot of experiencers have, you know, connections with the occult or Satanism. So
Okay.
it's very spiritual in nature.
Gotcha. Now, yeah, I want to add in there, and I'm going to go around the room in a second, but I want to add in, I have also read that when people they started to connect people that were praying, or not praying, but maybe I know in the Bible we've heard on this channel before that I'm going to get to what I'm saying. Trust me, I'm having a mental block, but it's coming out. So in the Bible, it said that people that use divination, mysticism, and things like that could, in fact, at sometimes, instead of it coming from where they're trying to connect to, like if they think they're going to try to talk to angels or something else, that it could, in fact, be intercepted by the bad side. So, okay, now before we go on, we on this channel constantly come at you guys with our conspiracies and answers to them by using scientific reasoning and spiritual reasoning also for the spiritual questions. We haven't had a guest on in a while that has that opinion, and I personally am just as much a believer in the possibility of UFOs being a spiritual debate as much as a physical sighting in the sky debate. Now, I just want to make sure everybody understands, and everyone that's watching, every single time we have someone come on here, we get their opinion, and we think about it, we process it, we come back with, and we ask questions, and it helps solve a little more of the problem. So Blaine, I'm going to come back to what we were talking about in a second, because I want Bitter to just let me know, and then I'm going to go to Venom. But I want Bitter to let me know if he's read, studied, or saw any explanations for UFOs and any other paranormal thing that may come up that you think about. And looking at it from the spiritual side, whatever spiritual side you want to use, you know, Christianity or anything you've read about. Bitter, what do you think, buddy? Are you muted, buddy? I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I was muted. I didn't want you.
Oh, you're fine. I just wanted to catch it. Go ahead.
No, I'm glad. I think, you know, it could be that regardless of what you decide to call it, you know, Jesus, Allah, whatever, we might be tapping into the same positive energy, you know, because I think a lot of the correlations between all of the religions and things like that, and you know, it seems kind of evident to me that they were all describing the same thing. So I don't know that it matters so much what you call it. Kind of like he was saying that you don't really have to use his name, right? You know, so I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't want to take away from anyone's. Now, also, Bitter, I don't want to. I'm going to come back to you because I want to do a disclaimer. I'm sorry, I'm the king of disclaimers. We're not going to ever put. Yeah, and I'm not saying you're doing this, Bitter. I just forgot to say this. We're never going to ever put down anyone for religious beliefs, judge them, and we are open to everyone's religious beliefs on this channel because we all have different ones. Even the people you see come on and talk. I know you guys down there all do, and we all do, and our whole goal is to get along with everyone from all spaces of the religious area, and I just wanted to say that because I just, you know, sometimes when you're on YouTube, you gotta really make sure you come out and say this beforehand. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let everyone know. I'm gonna make this disclaimer throughout the show too, so that any newcomers, anyone who joins in hears it, and we keep things just 100% transparent. Bitter, I'm sorry I cut you off, buddy. It was my bad. Go ahead, and if you got anything else you want to put in.
Oh no, that's fine. I guess, you know, I feel like we could just possibly be tapping into the same positive energy or collective conscious, and it really doesn't matter what name we give it. It knows that that's what we're talking about, and that's, you know, if it can sense that you have love in your heart and, you know, that your intentions are good, you know, I think it's going to be there to back you up.
So yeah, you're saying, like, you know, when you come at anything that comes at you evil, especially like, let's just say UFOs, if they were, this is what pretty much where we're going with this debate is our, not debate, what this talk is, you know, maybe UFOs are coming at us from a not so great place. And like a lot of people will say, they think they come from hell. They think they're here to destroy us. They think they're here to perform, you know, abductions with experiments on us. So if that is correct, because we can never give 100%, we always have to give an if. If that's correct, that's what we're talking about. And I'm going to give Venom a second. And Venom, I'm putting you on now. What do you think, buddy?
Well, I do think that it's a spiritual warfare now going on. Especially with the Mandela effect, it taught me that the reality that I know of is not as real as it is. So it looks more like it tends to go more to the spiritual side than to the physical side, especially with reality, Mandela, quantum jumping, all that kind of stuff. It's also a lot of science involved with it. And with the aliens concerned, I mean, I see a lot of evidence for a flat Earth. I don't know if that's true. It can be just as round as a ball. But I see a lot of evidence of a flat Earth. And in that theory, it doesn't explain the aliens. But with the spiritual and with the Bible concerned, aliens and demons, being demons, because most of those flying ships seem to be popping out in and out of existence, it seems to be that they are coming from another world, and doesn't mean to say another universe. It can be another reality, and that those aliens are demons from a lower dimension and coming to visit us.
Yeah, you know, that's a really good way to put it, Venom. I myself, to answer the question I asked, you know, I've done research just like all three of these guys with me. And my research, a lot of times I can answer a specific question in the conspiracy community with an answer from one place. And then that's it. But then if I put the spiritual side into it, instead of being able to only answer it from one spot, it seems like it could fill every answer in that equation. So I think it's a necessary topic, and I hope I didn't surprise anybody like coming in and saying, "Oh, hey, we're talking about, you know, some spiritual side of our lives also inside of a show that's typically scientific when it thinks and talks." But you know, it's important to have this. I'm glad you guys are here with me on it. So our new guest is Blaine. I'm going to let him answer first. Bitter, it'll go to you, and then Venom, after that, it'll pop over to you. And I'm just going to ask a few questions so that we can all understand each other more, understand each other's perspective a little more. So the first thing I want to ask is, this is mostly a UFO or alien debate or a discussion, and there's a reason. When I saw Blaine talk about this on Facebook, he was talking about aliens, UFOs, and how he thought that they could possibly come from hell. And it was a really good talk, and that's why I invited him. So my question is, my questions are going to come from that perspective. And my question is, if you've seen UFO sightings, many of them are reported to morph, and they kind of look like they're changing, or they're having a problem forming into one certain thing. They seem like they just change a lot in the sky. I know we all have opinions on either why that could be happening, or if we honestly think we know what is making it happen. I'd like to know that. Blaine, I'm going to go ahead and let's see what you think, buddy. What do you think about that? Morphing UFOs.
It could be just a trick of the eye. If it was physics and it followed the property of physics, it would not turn on a dime. It just defies physics. And I think the purpose of that, it's more than just spiritual. It's in intuition, intentions. I'm trying to look at their intentions. What do by wowing people like, wow, this defies physics? If it was something that was explainable to us, we'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense because you can do this. But if they're trying to wow us with something that defies physics, then they might harbor hostile intentions. It's all about trying to figure out their intent. Why are they trying to wow us? Why do they need humanity? You know?
Oh, that's a great point, Blaine. Thank you so much. Bitter, what do you think, man? When you see a UFO morph around in the sky, I know that a lot of them on YouTube, on the big shows on TV do this. What do you think, man? What do you got for that? I think you're muted again, brother.
I'm always muting myself.
You're fine. No, I like that. No, it's okay. Go ahead.
But I mean, it could be a lot of things, really, and it could be more than one thing. I mean, if this is a simulation, there's no reason then that anything you can come up with in your mind can't be happening out there. You know, I would like it to be, you know, or not benevolent type of being that's going to be there to back us up. I think that's kind of what we all would like to be the case, but you know, really, there are a lot of explanations that really seem to explain it pretty well. It could be all of them simultaneously from what we've looked at in quantum mechanics with the revelation of Mandela effect and D-Wave and CERN and all these other things. So, I mean, it could just be some blue beam technology. It could be HARP, making you see something that's not necessarily there. So, I mean,
yeah, brother. Yeah, that's definitely true.
I guess.
Yeah, there's a lot of different reasoning behind all these different conspiracies that come up. All of them have good weight to them, and that's why we always come back to them in our talks. Venom, I need to know, man. You know, what do you think on morphing, changing, or even a UFO that looks like it can't hold its form here in reality? What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's really strange that they can morph and change into and exit the reality that we can look in the visual realm. I think that aliens, and just like everything else, it's just to create fear. Fear is a low frequency, and they feed on that. And the high frequency, love and compassion, and that's more. Yeah, they don't like that. So if you're an alien or if you're a demon and you want to create fear with people, you will try to use all those, like morphing into an alien spaceship. I can imagine that, to get that fear from people. And also in other areas, they will try to generate that fear with people, because they, just like the fear factor on the news, on the what we see daily on the news. And it's just to create fear and to let us not to move forward into the spiritual high frequency, but to let us stay in the low frequency band, and to have our ego and our fear and our basic instincts work for us, and not our spirits.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, definitely. You know, that's interesting. That's a good way to look at it. And yeah, man, I'm going to have to think on all this, because it's so scary when you see something that is in the sky, and it ends up doing things that you never thought something in the sky would do, based on the things we're told by the people that govern us. And yeah, that's scary. So so I'm gonna do a couple more of these, but my next one is okay, when you how do I say this? Hold on, I have it written down. Let me go ahead and just ask you while I get my list out. Have you guys seen yourselves a UFO? If you haven't, it's okay. Tell me what you've seen if you have saw one, or if you've heard about your friends seeing one, or an experience. But this could be a long talk. Just try to give me the short version so everyone has a chance. Blaine, what do you think? Have you seen anything before in the sky?
I saw a light, but when I tried asking somebody, what is that? Is that a UFO? They're like, oh, that's a drone. I was like, all right, well, back in my day, that was a UFO. They're like, well, according to now, that's a drone. So
yeah,
that's about all I've seen. I've seen a triangular formation, but then again, I live right next to a military base, Fort Irwin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was on a military base for a long time when I was in the service. You see all kinds of different planes, helicopters, and then all this stuff that looks completely different up there. It does make it hard. Drones too, man. It's almost like now they can call any UFO a drone. It just kind of confuses the science of it. Bitter, what have you seen? I think I've asked you this before, but it's okay. What have you seen?
Well, first, I had to make sure I wasn't muted that time.
That's okay.
First, I think we need to understand, really, have an understanding for what UFO means, and it's just as simply that it's an unidentified flying object. So if you see something in the sky that you aren't 100% sure what it is, that's a UFO. You know,
Sure.
I have seen some things which I can't explain. One, which I told you about earlier, but I don't know if we were on live stream. I saw it come down at a 45-degree angle, about as fast as a shooting star. It got to right above the horizon when it stopped and slowly floated straight down to the ground. You know what that is? I don't know. It definitely was a UFO because I can't identify it. Did little green men come out? I don't know. It was too far away.
Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely. I've seen some crazy little things up there too, and yeah, it's definitely when people do claim that they've seen, you know, the super sightings, you always ask yourself if they're telling you the absolute truth. It's a shame that we have to be at that point. But anyway, Venom, give me your thoughts. If you've seen what you've seen in the sky, any anomalies, any UFOs, any just anything at all, you know, that you might want to add here.
Yeah, before the Mandela effect, I saw some white light points in the sky, fixed, and they didn't move for a couple of hours. So that makes me wonder, it couldn't be stars because they are slowly moving, and they were fixed 4 points in the sky, far apart. But yeah, not actually witness an aircraft or a UFO close by. Really, that things that make me wonder, how can this be? Just I look a lot to the sky, and now recently I saw the sun lit the moon from the wrong side. So the sun was on the right, the moon, the right side was dark, and the left side was lit. So that was crazy to see. But no, not actually UFOs that you can say that's an UFO. No. Maybe those lights were.
Yeah.
I've seen the same thing.
All right.
With that.
Yeah.
With the moon being lit from the wrong side, I've definitely seen.
I've had reports. I've had a lot of reports on this. Yeah, I'll let you know, Blaine. We've actually been studying a star that's been. I keep bringing this up all the time, but I've been studying a star that's been following the moon when it moves through the sky instead of following the sky, and it's just this is the kind of stuff we do. Oh, I got video of it. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Crazy stuff.
A couple nights ago. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that thing before. Maybe it could be wormwood.
That's what we found. That was a suggestion.
Planet X. Huh?
Yeah.
What if Planet X suggested? Wormwood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely, man. Now, so we're going to go to a topic that a lot of people don't like talking about. We've actually, you mentioned it a little bit in the beginning, Blaine. We're going to talk about abductions really quick. Now, I know you've already talked about how some people have said that that you could pray and it could stop an abduction. But what I want to specifically know about abductions is that I want to know if you found, this is a bad question, but let's say you found yourself abducted, or you. And then, well, that's the first question. What would you do? The second part is, let's just say you remembered that you had been. I want to know how you would react or what you would think about that, if you don't mind. You know.
Well, I haven't been, but I do know a girl who was. And she's like a sister to me. This green light came into her room, and she showed me the scar where they put this chip in her arm, kind of like a tracking device, which kind of reveals their intentions to me. She said that these beings told her beforehand that she would forget her from the pain that she was about to undergo from this operation. I guess they were harvesting some kind of genetic material. So she told me that all she remembers is that they told her she would forget everything. Getting, hypnosis to get memory regression, and I said, honestly, don't do it. So I question the intent of these aliens, because you could be a wolf in sheep's clothing. If you donate money to charity, it could be considered a good deed. But if you're doing it to get a tax write-off and to impress somebody down the road, you have malicious intent. So they can appear like humanity's saviors, like, oh, we're here to benefit people. But realistically speaking, if we live in a Darwinistic realm, then, I mean, it's a given that these are not going to be truly altruistic creatures. If they have something to profit from humanity, which is why they seem to need us. You know, so if it was me, I mean, you know, in the cases where praying to Jesus does not work, that only means that it's a physical experience by the government. Physical. When it's purely spiritual, you can rebuke them. But if there are physical government people, you know, involved, you know, it's more physical at that point. But they are still demonic. I do believe that they cooperate with the government to create these hybrids. If you look at even the pyramids, the ancient Tower of Babel itself was a pyramid structure. So when God came down and confused the languages, you got pyramids all over the world. And these pyramids are becoming activated. And now that you got CERN trying to activate all this grid, this ancient power, and to see more and more of these occurrences with UFO'S and manifestations. So I do believe they cooperate with the government.
Well, Blaine, thanks, man. Yeah, that's a great answer, because we actually talk about a lot of the subjects you just brought up. I've got so many videos on CERN and other, you know, D-Wave computers and so many things like that. I mean, I've got so much more information. We could keep going forever. But, you know, I think also what you said is very, very relevant. And I liked how you said, if it's spiritual, and then you gave us something and you said, if it's physical. So that really hit me. So I want to tell you what I think there too. But I think also if it's a completely spiritual experience, I agree with you. I think that when somebody prays to their religious beliefs and these things stop, I think that does give us a huge clue in those situations. And now, you know, I've read some that, you know, some people do try to pray and it doesn't work. And I agree with what you said there completely. I mean, it does show that maybe we've had a couple theories come up on the channel that go in line with what you said. And the physical being the government thing has been one main theory, or they, you know, like not necessarily even if it's people in the government, but maybe people in a big organization that is behind the government. And then on the physical side too, we've come up with on the channel a lot of theories involving using particle colliders to weaken the veil, and these are all theories, of course. That's what we do. We go by theories. We discuss how probable is this theory under these conditions. And we hope that by doing that on this channel, we'll all understand this a little better. I'm really glad you brought that up, and that's great. So the question was that if you were in an abduction scenario, you know, what would the first thing you would do be? I'm asking this question so we can get to know us all a little better. And then, like, if you would remember being abducted, just any general thoughts on that. So, Bitter, I'm going to go ahead and see what you think on that one, if you have anything for us there. I know it's a weird question.
I think the first thing I would try is something spiritual, because if that worked, that'd be great. You know, right? You know, if that works, then at the same time, that would give me a lot to think about also.
Yeah.
But if that didn't work, you know, does that necessarily mean it's not true? No, I think he brought up a really good point there, that would only work, you know, half of the time, kind of thing. If it's something that's being caused by human beings down here in the shadow government or whatever the case may be, then, you know, it might not necessarily work. I guess that's really all I have to say.
Yeah, man, that was good. That was good. I like that, man. If that, if it worked, it'd be a lot to think about. Yeah, let's say Now, I'm going to tell you what I'd say. Like, I'm just laying there on a table. I see a bunch of these gray dudes around me. I'm gonna start screaming lots of stuff. God help me, you know, all this stuff. Jesus, man, what's up? And if it did stop all of a sudden, when you came out of that situation in your mind, not only would it validify that you just were saved by what you just did, but it would also validify it would make it basically what you said, where it would give you a lot to think about. That is a very, very true statement. And that would shake me. You know, it shakes me. We always have this term, Blaine, I'm sorry. We have a term here on the show where you get shook. You hear something on the show that affects you. We call it getting shook. I don't know why we call it that. It's our buddy Dark Wolf is usually in here too, and he says that. So if it shook me like that, or it is shaking me like that, thinking about yelling for God or Jesus to help me and it actually coming through and waking up out of it, I'm shook going there. So while I reel from get out of my shookedness, I'm going to pass over to Venom. So if you woke up, or if you were like, you came out of, you know, sleep or whatever, and you're in this situation, this abduction situation, give me thoughts on that, and then if you can. Give me thoughts about if you remembered it or anything that comes to you thinking about those things. Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I don't have any memory or recollection of any abduction or that I've been abducted. If you look at it as a scientific point of view, they are talking about sleep paralysis. So and with the succubus, that's being that people. That's a ghost that sucks, that will sit on the person that sleeps. And it's a bit like the alien story, because it always happens in sleep, and or just after the sleep, that it's sleep paralysis. Oh my God! But and you are,
gotcha.
Yeah, okay, thank you. But that you're visited by aliens or by ghosts or by demons, or if I look at that, if it happens to me, and if I probably will scream out to God and every Holy Spirit out there to help me. That's a normal reaction, I think. And but it's also that you can't speak and you can't shout if you're abducted at that moment. It's like you can't move. So yeah, it's a difficult one. What I would do, I probably will go totally crazy if that happens to me. Glad I didn't have to experience it.
I'm with you, Venom. I'm with you, man. Because look, I'd be that exact same way, man. Like, and I'm sorry. I want to do after this question. I even wrote down. I want to apologize for asking you guys. I know that that's a scary place to put yourself, but I think it reveals a little about us, and it'll help us get to know each other in the long run. Which I'm really, that's the whole goal here. So we have a question from Doof in the live chat. I'm going to see what he said, and then we'll jump back in here. Doof says, may I ask why extraterrestrials are usually referred to as a threat? Tip of the hat, evening. Well, hey, Doof, I'm tipping my bandana right back at you there, buddy. Yeah, you can ask that. We can actually use that as our next question, because I only have a couple more. So, yeah, we'll say we've covered a little bit of why a lot of people say that extraterrestrials are a threat. So I'm going to change the question just a little bit. I'm going to say, is there any other thoughts in your mind that we may have not covered? If you do hit something we've covered, again, it's okay. But are there any other thoughts up in your mind that make you that'll give a good reason for why people fear aliens so much? And of course, we're going to hit a lot of really common and often talked about things with this question, but it is a great question to ask and answer. So, in your opinion, why do you think aliens have got such a bad rap? And I'm going to go on to Blaine here and give him his chance. So what do you think, buddy?
I think aliens are intimidating because of the secrecy. If they were to come outright and say, this is who we are, this is what we stand for, it gives them a face and a name that we can identify them. It's like the equivalent of getting a friend request from somebody on Facebook that has no profile picture, no information about themselves. You could be talking to anybody. Secrecy. It's like the occult. What the occult means is secrecy. when you hide secret knowledge from God, when you have the need to hide something, it suggests shame or hidden intentions that are malevolent. You have something to gain. If they were to reveal themselves in full knowledge and say, hey, this is who we are from the get-go, then there wouldn't be all this panic. Why the need for secrecy? Why do they hide themselves?
You know, Blaine, that's so perfect. The secrecy is, I think, one of the biggest reasons why people give them a bad rap. You know, and that's what really sucks about the UFO phenomenon. You know, if the government, you know, I think everybody says, you know, on the government side, that if they told the public, everybody would just freak out. Well, I think that that is really underestimating the public. Because I think that the public has family members. The public has people close to them. You're going to have people freaking out. But let's just say they come out and say that, oh, yeah, all those UFOs, they're secret government aircraft. We have UFO-looking aircraft, so sorry about that. Ha ha. We would all hate them. Maybe that's why they don't say that. I have no clue why, if these things were government aircrafts, why the Sam hell wouldn't they just say it, you know? Go ahead and give every country a couple of them and just say it. You know, hey, you can take the president around in an instant with the thing. Just freaking come out and tell us. You know, and if just like, you know, if they are aliens, you know, that is the scary question. And I'm sorry, I know I need to ask everyone else too, but that's a scary thing if they are aliens and the government does come down and tell us. That's what everybody says disclosure is going to be. And they're talking about disclosure coming soon. So let's go ahead and go down the line here. Bitter, do you have any thoughts on why they got a bad rap, or any thoughts on disclosure in general? Go ahead, buddy. Mute button, mute button.
I think Blaine,
okay,
I think Blaine is 100% correct on that. And at the same time, I wonder, though, if it hasn't been engineered that way, so we won't give them a chance. We won't open up to them, you know. Disclosure, I think the first wave of disclosure we get is going to be just about as fake as they can make it, honestly. But that's really all. I can't add much to what Blaine said because I really agree with that.
Yeah, I feel you there, man. That was good. That was good. This whole secrecy thing is what really does it. You know, it really just does them in, man. Like, hiding it from us for so long. That's why we don't trust them in the first place. So, okay, Venom, it's your turn. We want to know about why they got a bad rap and anything on disclosure. Go ahead and give it to me, man.
Yeah, they got a bad rap because of the animal mutilations that you see in the field. They got a bad rap because, yeah, they're always negative if there's an encounter. Especially if you look at all the Discovery Channel, it's always negative, and they can't do anything, and they're abducted or they are molested, or never I hear a gentle story about aliens. And yeah, that is the news that we get. Only if you look at the alternative channels, you get a totally different story about aliens. And yeah, will there be disclosure? I think they triple information into the public, see how the public reacts to it. If it's positive, they will continue. If it's negative, then they will stop or retract that message or that information. I think that's how they go to work. It's, yeah.
Definitely, Venom, 100%. We hit some good stuff there. And I forgot to tell Blaine how the Facebook picture analogy before you went into that secrecy thing was spot on. And I'm going to use that, if you don't mind, when I start talking about secrecy. I'm going to say, hey, it's like having Facebook and they don't even have a damn picture. Their name is blank and they want to be your friend, you know? It really is like that. So, yeah. Okay, all right. I had somebody sending me a message, and I was trying to talk my buddy into letting me show a picture, but I'm going to wait because I have to respect my friends. Thanks, Alien Addict, man. I'm going to look as soon as this is over. I'll give you my thoughts, and I'll keep it personal for you, buddy. All right. Yeah, Alien Addict, if you want to get the dish, on the next question. This is so crazy that, you know, things are meant to be, because my next question goes right in line with the guy who just messaged me. Alien Addict has a channel on YouTube, and he goes about debunking or showing when a popular YouTube channel, most specifically, but when we get together, we talk about everybody who fakes UFO sightings. So I want to talk about this because I think it plays into this phenomenon. But YouTube is littered with channels that show a UFO sighting that has been submitted to them, and then they show it on their channel. And that's perfectly fine. That's what we do. That's what I do. I've shown Mars stuff that got submitted to me right along, right before a live show, taking it right there online. And I've pulled up Bitter's pictures he sent me on the Antarctica conspiracy. We talked about them. So, you know, the thing is, a channel gets something and then they show it, right? Well, a lot of channels don't put a disclaimer. A lot of channels don't say, hey, this could be fake. Because with the advent of this technology we have nowadays, I mean, you got to think, oh, Alien just messaged me, he said he doesn't mind if I do. Well, I'm going to show it there, Alien Addict buddy. Actually, no, I'm going to wait. I will show it live, but I'm going to wait till after I look at it because we got a talk going on. I'll do it on the next one. But anyway, what I was saying was, you know, these channels make a good living. And now one of them that is no qualms about if they're fake or not is called UFO sightings. Now, we are working with technology, and we're kind of in a question and answer, but I'm still going to do it. I'm still going to pull up some stuff because we got to use this technology I paid all this money for, right? You know what I'm saying? So, okay, if you guys want to add anything while I do this, I'm going to show you an absolute no holds barred. There's no argument about this channel. These guys are completely 1,000% fake. And then what I'm going to do is ask you guys to tell me why you think, why would they do this when they can go out and show a lot of good stuff? So here, let's watch this for 1 second here, and then when we'll, let me lock in the camera. We're going to see this, and then we're going to talk about it. So I hope you guys can see it okay. Maybe I can make it bigger. Hold on. Well, okay, yeah, I'll have to keep it about right here. So, you know, we got this little dude here. You can just tell he's starting to make him more ambiguous. You know, there's many of these UFOs. Here we go. I don't know what he thinks this thing is. Oh, yeah, here we go, the donut. It's a donut with a donut hole in the center, okay? Now, I'm telling you, let me turn the sound up and let you hear what the man's saying.
And the guy's just standing outside his house. He just saw his daughter off. She was going to school. And then he looks up and sees this thing.
So anyway, he says the guy was standing outside his house. He just saw his daughter off. He looks up in the sky and sees this thing. Now, I hate to say it, but let's just say anybody thinks that this is a real UFO. I can load this into After Effects and show you where he has used just very common After Effects to cause the rippling, to even create the thing, to add that redness in. And not only that, it's moving at a different frame rate than the background. It stands out completely from the background because it's not part of the background. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys with showing you a whole bunch of that stuff. It's important, though, that I show you that entire channels. Now, this guy's stuff within a week has 600, 700, 800,000, 1 million views. He's making good money off this stuff. So what I want to do is now that I've showed this to you, I'm going to ask you, why would a normal, everyday person make a channel and do this? You know, I know for money, but the main part of this question is, do you think that there are something behind these channels succeeding more than just regular YouTubers? So do you think these guys are backed by the government, or do you think that the government pushes fake UFO sightings and makes them so successful so that they can keep putting out this fake stuff? Okay, if I'm too general at this question, you can just give me the answer, whatever you think works here. But Blaine, tell me what you think about what I just showed.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying that this particular YouTube user does this, but I do know for a fact that the government hires internet trolls to go around and mess with people's moods and collect the data to see if it affects somebody. So if a true, genuine UFO video is released, they cannot take it back. Disperse several false videos to make the original true video discreditable. You know, they say, okay, here's the original. We can't take this back, but we can go and put a bunch of disinformation out there to make the original one look also like it is also a phony. Adds to the theory that, oh, you guys are just crazy because look at all these fakes, and they just throw it in the same pile as all the crazy ones. And it could be also perpetuating the idea, getting people used to the idea of aliens at the same time. So it could serve two purposes: to condition us to the reality of UFOs, but to also kind of throw the originals in the garbage bin with the false ones.
So true. I love that you went there with that. Creating disinformation would be the greatest tool of, I'm not even going to complain about our government here in the United States or anywhere else. I'm going to generalize it all. Let's just say you create a whole other world where we've got a pretty similar one to ours. Disinformation would be the greatest tactic in a endeavor like this from the government to hide these things. Okay, Bitter, you're up with the talking about why they would let all these fake things out. I want to add too, I'm sorry, Blaine, if you have anything to add about this last part that I forgot to put in, I want to add this in though. We got to remember that YouTube says that if you think a video is being represented in a way that is false or in a way that's lying about what it is, that they will remove this. This is against their terms of use. So I want to make sure we put that into the discussion, and we'll go back to Blaine if he has something to add about the fact that YouTube's terms of use says these should come down, but they're not. But I want to know what Bitter and Venom think. We're going to start with Bitter. Go ahead, buddy. What do you think about these hoaxes?
Not only do they not come down, but they seem to go viral more than, I mean, you can have a guy out here who's been putting stuff on his channel for months, and his channel will go nowhere, you know? And someone like that all of a sudden blows up and goes viral overnight. You know, I pretty much agree with everything Blaine has also said too. You know, and I've witnessed this, you know, you get a good video out there that looks really legit, and all of a sudden you've got 50 other videos out there that seem to do nothing but take away the legitimacy of the first one. So, I mean, undoubtedly this is going on, you know.
I agree completely. Great stuff, man, because, you know, the adding in that YouTube doesn't pull them down and that they go viral is a huge key to this equation. And I forget to say things. I forget to bring up stuff a lot when going into these questions. And I'm glad you said that. That adds a layer of this that really needs to be there. Vin, you're up. What do you think, buddy?
I agree to both Blaine and to Bitter. I mean, it's disinformation to discredit all the real YouTube users that are really working hard to put those UFO images and footage out there. And if somebody just make it up in some cheap Photoshop program or video program, yeah, that's just a discredit. And just like Bitter said, I mean, those videos, they got a lot of views and they really go viral. And yeah, it makes you wonder what's going on. And except for, or apart from UFO, it's on all subjects. Also on the Mandela effect, you see and discredit of information, and to put false information out there to say that has changed. Well, it hasn't, and maybe there's some paid trolls out there to discredit people or their memory. But yeah, it's really, it's like a campaign that's going on. I mean, you have to question if it's all not intentional behind it.
So true, Venom, and that, you know, we really covered it well right here. I think we've nailed this hoax thing, and we've come up with a lot of different good points on it, and that'll be good to put down into the record book. You know, we want to make sure that we put out there sometime, somehow, that we understand these hoaxing sites when it comes to every conspiracy, and that you're not going to find that anywhere in our network of channels. Not only the channels that we deal with and that we work with, not only will we not tolerate hoaxing to try to get some views or publicity, but also we do our best to make sure that, let's just say I all of a sudden put out a video. I'm going to get told by all my people, my friends, like the guys that are in here right now, and Alien Addict and everyone else out there, they're going to say, Uni, you got to take that one down or do a response video because it's fake as Bruce Jenner's toenails. I don't know. Sorry, Bruce. I didn't mean to put you down. So anyway, next up, we're going to talk to, we got a question, and if I've missed anything that our commenters have said, a question, something you want me to ask Blaine, our new guest, or any of the others, I want you to repost it, because when we get talking, I'm getting better at looking down here, but I'm still balancing all my different programs. So Mystique, UFO Pirate, she's in here all the time. She's always got good stuff. So let me read what she said, and we'll do a really quick thing here so I can ask you guys a couple more questions. But she says, I think Roswell was not real. Please don't hate on me. I think I read somewhere that it was our government sending up a spy apparatus on Russia, and we let it fall onto a UFO crash until the people reacted. Now, she also says, and then our government retracted. Our government retracted again because of the reaction and said it was a weather balloon and just stuck with that. Now, that will lead us into this question that will answer her and hopefully get us some more insight on this. We all know about Roswell, because Roswell is, let's just say you're new to this UFO thing or this alien thing in general, and you type it in. I don't care where you're typing. I don't care where you look on television, Netflix, wherever you're at. You're going to see Roswell, and you're going to hear about it over and over. I'd like to hear what you guys think about Roswell. And I'm going to request, we all know the general information about Roswell, so it's okay to talk about any generalized Roswell facts. But I'd like to know if you think anything yourself that you want to put out there. No hesitation. Don't worry about repeating something that's common about it. Let's just hear what you think. I'm going to go to Blaine, our new guest. What do you think, Blaine?
Oh, I have a lot. Okay, and you can look this up if you want. Okay, in the original Roswell incident, if you can get a chance to look this guy up, his name is Jack Parsons. Jack Parsons is a famous Satanist. He led a ritual, a satanic ritual at Roswell, New Mexico called Babylon Working. And Babylon Working involved some kind of blood sacrifice. That's how they get these beings to manifest. So they claim that he ripped a hole in time and space, and a bunch of these grays came flying in. There was actually a shootout between and these grays. His name is Jack Parsons. You can look that up.
Yeah, I've heard about Jack, Blaine. Thank you. Yeah, Jack Parsons. Now, I'm going to add before we go down the line. I mean, that's what happens when somebody gives me some good stuff. I got to get a little in on it so I can let bit and bit, the two bits, give me their bit of information. Sorry, very corny joke. So yeah, Jack Parsons was a very famous man, and I've heard so many links between Jack Parsons and ancient rituals. You know, I've heard about them leaving an olive branch on the moon, that the moon landing happened, and the whole conspiracy about them not going was a diversionary tactic to take away from the actual, they'll admit that they left an olive branch and did a Masonic ritual when they went to the moon. A gold olive branch, mind you. There's so much conspiracy behind that. There's so much talk about that. And Jack Parsons is at the very center of every single Apollo, NASA, origination story debate. And I'm thanking you, Blaine, because that was excellent, man. So we're going to Bitter. Now, I just added a lot of stuff to this, buddy. You can dress it as simple or as complex as you want, but Well, I'm going to give you a chance to go here. All right.
Well, first I'm going to say your mic is acting up really bad. But
Mine is.
mhm.
Okay.
What I find really interesting is that, that whole Roswell thing happened at a good time when they needed, when it was awfully convenient that would saturate the news at the time, given all of the other things that were going on. I wish I knew more about that, what he was talking about with the guy that isn't that the guy that got his fingers shot off? Isn't he missing like half of his fingers?
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and he had one of those guys anyway that said that they had this big shootout with the aliens. He was missing half of his fingers. He has a big scar on his side to prove it, and I don't know. I really think it was convenient, and it seems like the whole thing just served to take over the radio waves during a time when they were probably up to other stuff.
Gotcha. Okay. I want
Russian
in between Bitter and Bit. Tell me if Jerry, you're in there, Dark Wolf, if my mic has gotten any better. Venom, can you hear me okay?
Yep. Can you hear you okay?
Okay, good. Hey, Bitter, Bittertruth, did my mic come back at all? I changed some settings.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, good. Thanks, buddy. Okay. Sorry to distract you from the flow of the conversation. Venom, I hope you're still with us here. You're on now, buddy. What do you think?
Well, on the one hand, I mean, they first released the press release with that officer, and they showed the material, and all the picture that we see is from a day later when they retracted and they showed a weather balloon and said this is a weather balloon. So we are being fed the wrong picture of that actually first event or the first press conference. On the other hand, if you talk to the presidents, and they are talked about it in talk shows, ex-presidents, did you ever see classified and aliens? And no ex-president actually gives a straight answer. They say, I can talk about it, or they say, we are under control of the aliens, which I don't know. But it's not so clear. But I do see that it's sometimes convenient to stage an alien event just for distraction or to get the agenda. I don't know what that is at the moment, but to get the agenda, put it on the agenda and to get more funding for whatever, to do more research. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but NASA gets a real big budget, and yeah, you have to account for that, on what you're gonna spend it to. And if you have an alien threat, then just like Reagan once said, if we are attacked by aliens, now that is something you normally don't say, but there's a lot of clues that you think, oh, okay, what's going on here? What's this about? So I'm a bit half-half. I'm not sure if it's all staged or, yeah, if it's government or it's real aliens. I'm half-half. It's yeah,
great, man. Thank you. This topic will get the conspiracy flowing, man. That's why when Blaine got back to me, and I said to myself, I've been wanting to do a dynamic where we talk about the spiritual side of UFOs and the spiritual side of other conspiracies. Blake definitely has done his homework, and he has a logical and just very spiritual way to look at his opinion on this. And I'm going to tell you, I'm really glad you came on, Blake. Or Blaine. I'm sorry. I have a guest I've been talking to named Blake, a guy I work with. That's the only reason I did that. I'm sorry. Blaine. I'm sorry.
I have 1,000 names.
Okay, good. You said that in the beginning. I'm holding you to it. Okay. No. So anyway, what I want to say though, I want to make sure we've been talking for a while. We have some new viewers. We had some viewers leave, so we're still at a really good number for the night. Thank you guys for watching and sticking around. I really appreciate it so much. So what we did here was I got in the Bittertruth He has his own YouTube channel. You have to check him out. He does some really good stuff. He's on our side. He's on our team. He's on the new tube. He puts in the good work. He's got a lot of stuff on Facebook. He's been coming on the YouTube more because of issues with Facebook everybody's been having. And, you know, if Facebook wants to jack with people's stuff, come on over to the new tube because, you know, we've got the room for the good fight with the good guys. And so Bitter's here with his opinions, and you've heard him, and you've heard what he thinks, and he's much like the rest of us in the way he thinks about this. You know, we don't exclude from certain reasoning or from certain paths to solve our issue that we have. We only, every day, evolve our opinion by talking to each other. We do it all the time. This is what the YouTube should be used for. I get so brought down when I stopped watching the big channels, all the other major stuff. Now, I still find great channels, don't get me wrong, but I just stopped going out and watching those big guys that are up there right now because, you know, they need to get up. They need to up the production. They need to up the honesty. They need to up the truth. They need to up the good talk. They need to treat each other right. Half of them don't even talk to the other ones, you know. It doesn't matter if we're at 100 subs or if we're getting close to 1,000 or if we're up at 1 million. We're all going to work together and talk, and it's all going to work out great. So I just wanted to let everybody know who's come in, since we have a few new people. We've got people with all sides of the gambit when it comes to UFOs, and we're hashing this out real fast. Now, Blaine, I wanted to ask you, are you running out of time? Am I holding you up? Because I've had you on for a while here, and I want to make sure.
I'm fine.
Okay. Okay. Well, I always do that. See, we run long sometimes, but I always check throughout the whole thing. I want to make sure everybody knows you're not obligated to stay the whole time. We'd love to have you for the whole time we talk. You're not obligated to.
Oh, this is fascinating.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I'm holding you hostage, buddy. But yeah, you know, I want to make sure we are the coolest, chillest place on the net. And if other people want to talk, all you got to do is send me an email. Anyway, Bitter and Vin, are you guys okay to go for just a little bit longer, or what's up there? Okay, I got the green light to go crazy is what just happened. So
hashtag. Oh wait,
you know what? Hashtag that shit. Hashtag cucumber, baby. Okay, now we look at a lot of weird things on our channel. So since you're here, Blaine, I know I found you talking about aliens and UFOs. Well, we talk about a couple other things here on the channel. So let's start with okay, we'll do this like I don't know. We'll come up with a name for this. I'm going to name a conspiracy, and you've got like 15, 20 seconds to give me your general thought on it, and then we're just going to bounce around because we're going to hit a bunch of conspiracies. We don't want it to eat up a lot of time. So here we go. Blaine, what do you think? Have you heard about the Mandela effect, and what do you think about it?
Oh, yeah. I think it is partially true, but mostly false. I think they use a lot of subliminal messages that at a certain point in time, like I said, they can give you the original, take the original back. They can give you brand new ideas and repeat the same brand new ideas. So you believe that as the original. Remember Morpheus in the movie, he says, you know, The Matrix, he says, "What if I told you?" And they made that into a meme. By repeating that meme over and over and over, people think, well, he said that in the original movie, when in reality he didn't. So in the Bible, it does say that it would be given to the Antichrist to change times, you know, the structure of time. It said that time comes to an end. Only God has no beginning, thus he has no end. All else is a finite being. Even the devil is finite. If you have a beginning, so you cannot revert back to a point in time beyond your starting point. Only God can do that. Excellent. So God has the keys to time. But
excellent perspective.
Like,
go ahead.
It's okay. Time itself has programming that can be manipulated and create alternate realities, because how can you be conscious in two locations if you are one conscious being? You cannot be dually conscious in one reality as well as another. which disproves multiple, realities. It's not possible if we are finite beings. God can be because he is omnipresent, but no mortal being can say that they are conscious in more than one location at a time.
Gotcha.
So they can exploit this speeding up of time, because in Revelation it said the times would be shortened. If those days had not been shortened, no flesh would be spared. So while time is accelerating, you cannot go back in time and branch off and create another universe. They can only deceive you. In the Bible, it claims that the Bible was changed, but that is false. The Word of God endures forever. What they did was they translated the newer versions to say wineskins instead of bottles, which was the original Greek context. And by perpetuating wineskins, and then you revert back to the original King James, it changed to bottles. No, it didn't. It's always been bottled because the Word of God preserves. They can only retranslate it.
Yeah, I got you. Understood. I love your perspective there. I like hearing every theory. And, I also myself, when I think about the multiple dimension, multiple reality theory, I'm constantly shook up by it, because I also, in a scientific perspective, have a hard time imagining it. And it's always good to hear all the different theories that people have for the different conspiracies we have. Now, some of us know what Bitter thinks on Mandela, but I want to hear it. Bitter, what do you got for me on Mandela effect?
Well, I think 90% of it's crap, but I think 10% of it is very valid. And like I've heard you say before, it only takes one instance, only one of them needs to be true to show that something's going on there. They have made too many breakthroughs in quantum mechanics with D-Wave, with CERN, and things like that to say that it's not possible. I mean, we have those experiments they've done where they can prove that they can make the same atom exist in two places at once and things like that. Does that mean that, if you get an entire living being to exist in two places at once, that both of them are going to be conscious? I don't know. I'm not that smart about it, but the fact of the matter is, if they can make one particle exist in two places at once, then I don't see why they couldn't make all the particles that comprise your body exist in two places at once.
Well, I feel you, and I like that perspective, and that's my thing, man. Uni operates off of probability and possibility, and we're gonna get this thing figured out, because if we were to just start an investigation on a murder, we would go through every single possibility, and we'd work that thing down and down and down. And you know what? This last couple weeks, we've been doing that hardcore in the chat rooms. We've been doing it right here every night, almost all night, and we get progress. We have progress, and I'm really loving Blaine coming in, because we get a new perspective, and it's good to add every new perspective to the list and just have it be there, and have it being able to say, yeah, we need to have probabilities for these perspectives, because we don't have them in the book yet, and it's already in. I already put it in there, so it's on the list. And I really appreciate yours, Bitter. I appreciate yours, Blaine. And so I gotta ask Vin, give it to me. Mandela effect. What do you think?
Totally real. Absolutely, 100%. And if you think logically about some of those Mandela effects, Blaine just mentioned the bottles. If you think logically, if you put wine in bottles, nothing will happen. But if you put it in wineskins, it fermentates. It will turn the grapes into alcohol, and it will expand the wineskin. And if you do it, if you have new wine and you put it in old wineskin, that fermentation you won't have, because it's already stretched, that wineskin. So if you think logically, it's same with Forrest Gump with my mother always said, life was like a box of chocolates. Now, that's a bit strange to quote somebody. If you look at JFK with 4 or 6 people in the car, and there's a museum piece where you can see actually a copy of the actual car where JFK drove in and where he was being shot, has 4 seats. And for me, I remember that as well, 4 seats. And there are more inconsistencies with the reality now that if you think logically about it, for example, big one, I see the map now, Australia, always mentioned down under. How can it be down under? Because it's not the lowest part of the country, of the lowest country anymore on the globe. That's Chile at the moment. So where does that down under come from? So there's a lot of inconsistencies, and I experienced them myself. So I would say it's real. What's the cause of it? That's open for debate. Also, if it's real, if it's memory lapse, or that's always open for debate. For me, it's real. But what's the cause of it? CERN can be multiple realities, end times. There's loads of theories, and that makes it very interesting subject to investigate, because you will touch every theory, every conspiracy out there, and that makes it so fascinating, the Mandela effect. Everything is involved, it seems.
Yes, Ben, very, very true. And what I like right now, what we just had was, we had 3 people with different views. You know, there's some similarities between them, but we had 3 people with different views. We're all saying what we think. Nobody's yelling. Nobody's getting mad. And we get to say how we feel to each other. You know, only friends do that, man. Only people that are cool with each other can look each other through. Well, you know, it's almost like we're looking at each other in the face. And only people who are cool like this can do this without getting offended or getting upset. So that's why I like having these talks. It's the chillest place on the net right now. So, okay, we've covered a little bit of Mandela effect and what we all think. You know, I also, you know, I like taking the quiet step when I come here, because I'm going to tell you, I agree with all of you, and I think all of it's probable. I think we found evidence towards each possibility, and based on what we do every day, we assign there's more evidence one way than another. That's not the purpose of this show. I'm not going to get into anything going and saying, oh, this person might be righter than that one, because that's not what it's about. We want to hear what we think. We don't want to have this issue. Now, we got some time maybe for maybe 1 or 2 more, I think. Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, yeah. I was just told if you guys got it, we got time for at least another question. Okay, so tell me right now, I want you to go through every list of conspiracies in your head, okay? Now, don't tell me what is your, like, most true thing for right now. Don't tell me what is your most possible thing. I don't want that. What I want is, what is affecting you? Like, let's just say you laid down to go to sleep tonight, and a conspiracy popped in your head, or one of these topics popped in your head. Which one would it be? And just tell me what it is and why it is affecting you. We don't have to get into the details of the conspiracy. What's going to bother you if you're thinking about this later? Blaine, what do you think?
Right now, mostly, can the mark of the beast be forced on you? I don't think it can, because they're talking about this very chip, and, you know, if you get this, then that's the mark of the beast, and that's it. Well, what if they forcefully inject you with this thing? They can't do that, because it has to be 100% your conscious decision. You know, so I think it may be something else, something to do with your renouncing, you know, your faith, and to accept a Luciferian doctrine. It has to be totally conscious when you do this.
Very true, buddy. I agree with you. I think if there is a mark of the beast, it defeats the whole purpose to be able to force it into people. I think that learning about the different end time scenarios from the different ancient prophecies, the ancient religions, the prophets, it'll help us out if any of those things come to pass. And I do believe that you always have to be vigilant. I'm going to go into that in the end. I have an idea, but okay, Bit, what do you, Bittertruth, I don't want to say Bit, we got 2 bits. We got all kinds of bits on the rock. What do you think, man? If you lay down tonight, what conspiracy might, if one did come in your mind, what one would bother you, buddy? What do you think?
Probably the situation with North Korea, China, and Russia. I think about that a lot. I stay informed on that every day. I'm searching the news for what's going on with that, and whether or not it, just everything about it, really. I think about that a lot.
Yeah, man, that one's in my mind a lot too. You know, we all research this stuff, and I hate to say it, but part of conspiracy is the war, the fighting, the result, and we too much in our research have to come across great men who have fought the fight head on, whatever fight it may be, on every side. And so many times that comes up. I know lots of guys who went to fight a fight and never came home, and they were great men. And if you're up there, guys, you know, I'm gonna get Vin before I break up here. What's up, man? What do you think? What's gonna bother you tonight if you lay down and think about it?
Oh, I think about, of course, the Mandela, but everything related to it. And yeah, I'm sorry, but it's keeping me busy. But also, CERN, if they're using spirits or demons to, also if you look at the dates when attacks or terrorist attacks occurs, it's always coincides with a specific date that is meant for sacrificing to a goddess or another demon, or it's getting really, normally you will say it's coincidence. It's getting now a bit more obvious, so to say. So are there really people out there that want to use technology to open a portal at CERN? And are there people really out there to perform rituals also at CERN to call on the demons to help them? I mean, yeah, that keeps me up.
Yeah,
if that's really true.
Definitely, Bit. It keeps me up too, buddy, because we've got in our conspiracies, we've got that evidence. We know they're out there doing it. They're performing this stuff. They're doing this stuff. And yeah, man, whether or not they are imagining a religious thing that they're summoning, or whether or not they're actually doing it, I'm not here to debate that. And I honestly feel like it could be very possible that whatever they're praying to, it's been written around since the ancient times. They follow a lot of these rituals that you see, like the ones at CERN and stuff. Whoever's faking that, man, like they might have took it as a joke if it is fake. But you know, that's horrible to fake that anyway. The ritual where they stabbed that girl or guy or whoever it was, and then broadcasted it out, you know, puts a lot of fear and a lot of stuff in people's minds, unless it was real. And if it was real, either way, it's putting a lot of bad things out into, you know, if I was responsible for a prank ritual at CERN, I'd feel bad every day after I did it, because it really does affect a lot of people. If I did the ritual, I'd feel bad, because hell, you're trying to do something evil when you do a ritual like that. Shit. So sorry, I don't mean to curse. I apologize. It slips sometimes. Anyway, what I want to do though is I want to thank you guys. So tell us all a little bit about what you guys do, and what you research, and what your main thing is. And if you have a channel, or if you want to have an email for people to get a hold of you, make sure you let them know, and let me know after this, so I can go ahead and put that in the about section and thank you, and let people know how they can get in contact with you. And my whole goal here is, I know, Blaine, when I talked to you at first, before we came on, you said that some people were giving you a lot of crap about speaking your mind on this topic on Facebook. Well, what I want to say is, I hope that through doing this for you, you've met some people who have shown, through talking to you for a while, there's a lot of people out there who will accept your thoughts, and you can't ever be afraid to speak your mind. I say it at the end of every one of my videos. That's my catchphrase. Don't ever be afraid to speak your mind. You were speaking your mind, bro, and I admired that. So I wanted to have you on this channel. I wanted people to hear you over on this side of the tube. Blaine, go ahead and say bye to everybody, and just tell them whatever you want to say here for a second before we roll out.
Mostly, I just want to say thank you, man. That means a lot to me. That means a lot. Seriously. I'm a portrait artist. I just draw portraits. I got into conspiracy theory because a legitimately haunted house, spirits in the house, me and my sister in my sleep. And one time, this shadow told me to write these symbols in a book. I've never even heard of the Illuminati. So I just started drawing these triangles, and I held them up side by side on images. They were sisters would fly over the house, try to possess my brother. So we started praying to Jesus, and it got rid of everything. The demons fled, and that day, 2009, I gave my life to Jesus. And so I started researching what these things are, what they mean, the news.
Well, Blaine, buddy, I thank you for coming on and telling us your thoughts and speaking from the heart, man. Hopefully you'll come back in the future. I'd like to have you back on. Yeah, when we have another debate, when we have another discussion about maybe this kind of stuff, and we want to have a guy who has a spiritual mindset and have him on here. We're going to reach out to you again if that's cool. I got your email now. You're on my Hangouts, so make sure you keep in touch, buddy. I'd like to see some of your portraits. That'd be awesome.
Well, thank you. I'll draw one of you.
Oh, that'd be cool. Hey, now, you don't want to draw this ugly mug. You're going to break your pen or whatever you're using, but no. I'm playing.
You're fine.
I really do kind of look good tonight. No, I'm just being cocky. I'm playing. Okay, I got enough of that. Bitter, it's your turn. I keep saying Bit, man. I'm confusing everybody. Bitter, it's your turn. Let us know where you're at, what you do, what you think, and tell people your last little thought here.
Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you for letting me on your show. I really, really enjoy these live streams we've been doing and watching the ones that I'm not on. Second, check out my Facebook. You can just check it out at / the Bittertruth 1. That's just the number 1. My channel is mostly just about moon stuff right now. I'll probably start adding other stuff, but I just got a really cool telescope, and with Nibiru, Wormwood, all this other stuff we've been talking about lately, I figured, I better get a telescope. If there's something up there to see, I want to be able to see it. I guess really that's it. And pace, picante sauce.
Hey, that's right, buddy. Bitter, I like having you on, man. You got that perspective. You know how to follow a show just like everyone else here. You guys are respectful, and that's what we need at The Rock. I need people to help me with these streams, I just started doing them last week. I've been doing videos for a couple months, but I haven't done that many streams. So, these things are important. I have to say something to my viewers really quick, and I'm going to jump over to Vin. I know some of my viewers have been sending me emails saying, Uni, we want videos and we want live streams, or Uni, we like videos better than live streams, and things like that. And what I want to say is I am still making videos, and these live streams won't take away from them. In fact, YouTube encourages us to do this. They get a hold of us and let us know, hey, you got more subscribers, you need to start going live. And I think that if you give the live talk a chance, and you can just skip through it if you like, maybe skip through it afterwards, find a part of it that's interesting to you if you don't like watching a lot of live streams on YouTube. But I think that I'm going to continually evolve this, because if you watch my videos, they came from a different place. I mean, I was just some crazy dude sitting down in his studio in front of a couple pieces of green cardboard trying to make some crazy stuff for you to see. And now I've got a full studio with full green screens, full cameras, full audio, full PCs, full servers. So I'm going to evolve the live experience also, and it's going to rival, if not match, the video production aspect. As you can see, our live stuff, we didn't even have any web pages or Google Earths or any of the other good Google programs we use back in the beginning. Well, we got them now, and I've talked too long about that. So all I want to say is my normal subs, I am listening to you, and I'm going to evolve my stuff to your needs because I'm here for my subscribers. It's Vin's turn. Vin, I know you don't have a YouTube page yet. I have finally, after years and years of bugging Vin to make a YouTube page, not really, like a few days. It didn't take long. But after a while of bugging Vin to get a YouTube thing going, I think I got him convinced because, dude, when you talk to this guy on the Discord stuff, man, he's got information just like Bitter. He's got information just like all the other guys. Vin, I'm talking too much. I'm passing it to you right now. Say, tell them what you want to say. Here it is.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show, and I like this discussion to exchange the thoughts, opinion, views to move forward. And my views, opinions, they change on a daily basis. I mean, I'm not fixed in any belief because every time you get a new piece of information and you have to review or revise your thoughts and your opinions. So I like those discussions, especially interactive with other people, and I really like that. So and yeah, that YouTube channel is coming up. I hope the viewers that are watching tell me if you want me to start a YouTube channel. Then I know for sure. But yeah, thanks,
buddy. They'll flood those comments if you ask them to do that.
No.
Bill, man, thanks. I love having you on, man. Venom and Bitter, I love having you guys on. I'm going to extend the invite. If I forget to send, let's say I go live and I haven't messaged you, I'm not just, spitting baloney here. Make sure you get on Hangouts, Discord, something. Come in the comments, tell me. I'll bring you right in from there, so no worries. Blaine, it's been a freaking fun chat, bro. And I know I hope you get on YouTube and add more stuff to you. I'm going to check I didn't check your channel out beforehand because right when you messaged me, I jumped straight into this. No offense, not checking out your channel first. I'm going to, and I want to see more of your theories. So I know it's pretty crazy for a dude who saw you on Facebook to bring you on his channel and then say, hey, will you make more videos on your channel? But I'm asking. So,
man, I appreciate it.
All right. Well, I'm trying.
Look out for a solar eclipse across the United States on August 21st.
Yeah,
we've talked about that too.
Oh yeah. Hey, I've got a video. Check it out if you want. When you have time, Blaine. It's called the Trump Antichrist conspiracy. Because look, I just want to tell everybody real fast, and then we're ending this. I cover every conspiracy and I give a thought on it. So just because you see something on the Unirock, it doesn't mean that we're pushing it on you. We just want to bring you that information because you know what we do on Unirock? It says right in the about section. We cover the internet. We crawl it like a freaking mechanical spider, pulling out any little bit of information we can find that's relevant to any of these topics that you've heard me cover. We filter out all the stuff that we don't think anyone should see. Let's just say the hoaxes. Let's just say anyone that's making the fake stuff, or maybe even something that's so extreme that we wait until we have more evidence before we bring it to you. But what I'm just saying is we comb the internet and find stuff and compile it into relevant, most of the time short videos, unless you see us live, and then you're going to be sitting here for a few hours. I'll get these guys stuck here for a minute, man. I'm telling you. What I want to say is thank you guys for coming. Thanks to viewers for watching. Thanks to the subs. I got to go talk to Third Phase of Moon a little bit tonight on their channel, and I wanted to tell people, hey, go watch Third Phase because, look, I know a lot of people have an issue. I'm not asking you to be a subscriber to Third Phase. I'm just telling, because I don't ask, I half the time it'll say subscribe on my channel, but if you hear me say it, I always say consider subscribing. It's always under your consideration. I'm not trying to push anyone to do anything. I just want you to go back. If you've watched Third Phase in the past, they've evolved a little bit. I've seen it. I'm not afraid to say what I think, so I'm going to say it. And I'm not being paid by them. They haven't given me anything. They haven't even really done me any favors because I haven't asked them to. I'm just telling you. All I'm saying is revisit your theories on the channels on YouTube, because I'm telling you why. When we started scrutinizing things, debunking things, we did it for a goal. We did it in the hopes that people would stop putting out questionable material without a disclaimer saying, hey, this is questionable material. So I am not saying anything other than I think Third Phase is trying to do that. Now, that's done and over with. We're moving on. Last little part of this is, we're going to try to live stream again Sunday, our normal night research and development. We might not get to it tomorrow night because we're going to have some guests live streaming, Alien Addict. I'm hoping Lion's Ground comes in. I'm hoping Doc Lupo comes in, and Bittertruth and Venom, you guys, I'll let you know, because I'd like you guys to say hi, especially when the Doc comes on. Venom, I'd really like to get you in, and Bittertruth, you like to look in the sky. So when I get Alien Addict in here, I'd like to get you in, because I want to start networking people and building this little new tube thing we got. I want to build this shit up. So I said a curse word again. I apologize. I know you're spiritual, really spiritual, Blaine. I apologize if I curse around you. I curse too. Okay. Sorry.
I never said I was a good Christian. I just said I was a Christian.
That's cool. But hey, anyone that tells me they're Christian, I always try to put a filter right on my mouth. I like to it's just something I always do, no matter who it is. Now, one more time, thank you, Blaine. I will. We're going to drop into a Hangouts right after this. If you guys will hang around for a minute, I'd appreciate it. All the viewers, you guys kept the numbers up to where it needed to be, and I appreciate it. We will see you next time. Now, listen, you always be nice in those comments, because every single comment comes from another person. But you never be afraid to speak your mind. All right, I'll see you guys later.